question. Hello,
Yeah,
Mike.
well, I just wanted to ask if, first of all, you've got a great show today. Second of all, I wanted to find out if your guests get the kind of respect from the movie community that they probably deserve, since we watched Superman when we were kids, and comparing it to the kid shows of today, there's a vast difference in terms of the kind of TV that was in those days. I kind of appreciated that stuff. I want to hang up and ask them if they get that kind of respect.
All right, very good. We'll start on down on Bob.
I don't understand your question.
He's asking more. Jack, did you understand what he was talking about as far as the respect?
If the film community gives us respect for being in the Superman television show.
Well, I can only answer that by saying that when I was called for the part of Reggie, the blind newspaper vendor in Flash, they treated me like I was a Hollywood star when I came on the lot. And yes, they treated me with a great deal of respect.
How about you?
Oh, yes. Well, the executives now are all, about 25 years old.
Oh, sure.
So they grew up on the show.
And those that have been to the Smithsonian, it helps too.
Well, no, it's always been. The show was very well done. We had a wonderful crew and cast and characters.
How would anybody not treat you with respect?
There you go. Listen, all right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to spend a little bit more time with the three of my favorite people from Superman. Don't forget.
The star of Superman.
Chief, you're in Red 3 just as soon as Jimmy gets back here. Great Caesar's ghost. What's holding you about it? You know I can't work without a good breakfast. Chief, Jimmy's bringing a box of Kellogg's Sugar Smacks. All the more reason for hurry. Confound it, that boy knows I like those new Sugar Smacks. And he knows I do too. That's a cinch. But here I am. Golly, Chief, I haven't opened up the box yet. But I'm going to now. Well, I guess we all agree on Sugar Smacks. Right. Folks, don't wait. Get Kellogg's new Sugar Smacks. They're better than ever. Puffs of wheat, sugar toasted, and candy sweet. You bet. Just get
Did you hear that voice that was you bet, can't guess? The clown's voice at the end? Do you know whose voice that was?
Jack.
Yeah.
I brought copies of the commercials for all three people.
You did Tony?
I did.
Great!
Yeah, when they came on the set one day and asked if I'd do Wild Lines Loop for the advertising agency, and I did it. I never got paid.
Great.
I wrote anything else.
No, I never.
Did you get a free box of cereal?
No, pay was not the question. It was all to be an honor.
Ran out of them. No, I took yours,
30 seconds, John.
You know, we had a great interview with the late Bill Scott, and he was right about how all of the television it's over. Pretty much till February, June.
9, 8, 5.
You're gonna see your favorite television star, look, Superman!
Happy birthday. Any of you fellas want to wrestle?
As we left, you saw a commercial that was being done, and in it, at the end, you saw the clown clapping his hands, and what was, do you remember the line? That was very difficult.
No.
But it was you.
So fast.
It was you that was doing that line. you told me something else that I want everybody to know about, because I was teasing a little bit about Tony the Tiger, and you?
I did the voice of Tony the Tiger with you. When they just came, a Leo Burnett agency, and the show, they came on, they said, would I mind doing these wild rhymes? Kellogg cereal, it's great!
We have now captured it on tape forever. The commercials, though, you were telling me that there was something a little bit different that people might not understand today about the way they treated you in
Those
commercials.
days, I kept waiting and waiting, and then the kids all did their commercial, and I finally said, well, so when does the girl get to do something? And they said, well, we just feel that you cannot be not married, that we don't want a girl and a man sitting at a breakfast table eating cereal. And so how long ago that was, and now, you know.
And now they're cereal off of one another.
One natural.
Oh, yeah. Everything has changed a lot as far as what you see in television, and it's changed over the years. What is your feeling about today's television, kids shows or whatever? I mean, the wholesomeness is pretty much gone. Noel was kind of
Gosh, I really isn't much to watch anymore. I still think the old shows were better, you know, like the Dragons and Hawaii Five-O.
I think the success of Nick at Night, Nickelodeon is doing a lot of the replays right now.
They are.
The independent stations have picked them up as well. How about you, Dan?
Well, I agree. That is the success of the movie. And they've gone to the roof, you know, with ratings on the shows from the 50s, in prime time. But I don't know why everything is different, everything is the same, you know. But I think the shows were better made in a way than the scripts were better.
It had to be just about, because like some of the old movies that we see on AMC, they were so well written because there was not the capability of having special effects and 7 or 8 cameras and all this sound equipment and so forth. So there had to be a better writing going on.
So they were made like movies. We had Orson Welles' crew, basically, of Citizen Kane on the 1951 shows. And we always had marvelous directors. Joe Byrock, who shot an Orson Welles film, was a cameraman. Pardon?
Academy Award.
Yeah, and Jimmy Speak was sound man on Citizen Kane. He was our sound. We had very fine crews. They were and they were trying to do the best job they could. We were moving quickly. Very quickly, but everybody was trying very hard, and we had wonderful actors. And in my opinion, that there were, when we just saw Elizabeth Patterson and Elijah Cook Jr. was in the show, Sterling Holloway, those were actors that they came up, Ben Weldon, who we saw, they came out of the theater, vaudeville, film, and the thrill of, for me, as a kid, was I learned, I never did a scene with any of these people with Bob, that I didn't learn something.
Yeah.
You always, it was a learning process because people who were master of their craft, and I think that shows.
Charles, you're on the air. You have a question.
Yeah, hi everybody. 2 questions. Number 1, John, what have you done to deserve such a beautiful woman sitting next to you this week?
I've been eating my sugar smacks.
Also, I wondered, besides the memories that you fellas and beautiful lady have, what are your favorite mementos or memorabilia that you have from the show?
All right, thank you very much. And we were talking about that earlier, and a tear almost came to your eye. You really don't have any?
No, I don't have anything.
Do you keep any costumes or any clothes?
No, in fact, when I was starting to do college shows, I called Mr. Ellsworth and his wife to see if they had my suit that I wore, which I had 3 of, and they couldn't find it. And probably said, where are Lois Lane's suit?
The pillbox hat is gone.
Well, I found it. Old pillbox hat of my
It's
own.
gotta count. It's gotta count.
Right.
We know your bow tie is in the
Right.
Smithsonian.
That was all I kept in that. But I later tried to track things, because you may or may not know, but I produced some film.
Yes, we're going to get a little bit of
And
that.
I went with our wardrobe woman for Bright Lights Big City, April Ferry, to Western Costume. And I thought, we'll get to the bottom of this, because the things were supposedly at Western, they restored at Western, but we could never find anything. And now, since Western's been completely moved and lost, the Hanson place so.
You're talking about Western costume.
You didn't ask me what I thought of the current movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Bob. What do you think about it? I apologize.
I think most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not in them.
Well, we're memorabilia. We know about your hat. We have your hat here, and we really appreciate you bringing it down. Anything else that you remember that's still around? Some memorabilia
You're
from
touching
the
a
70s.
91-year-old man's memory. That's pretty rough.
Well, Bob is in there.
That's one of the great memorabilia. I guess to answer another question, this is probably the best memorabilia you could have from a great show, is the chance to have these three people right here. And we've got a caller on. Yes. Hi, Irene. How are you?
Hi, John. What a pleasure. God, I just love the show today. It's just wonderful to see my heroes. And I couldn't believe, did I just hear the chief say he's 91?
Bob is.
You just did what?
She wanted to know if she heard the chief. This is the inspector saying he was 91 years old. See, you've got this lady in shock.
I wonder if I could be so rude as to ask how old Jimmy and Lois is.
29.
You can ask all you like. Somebody says, how old
Fundamental
was the
rules
old
of being
Terry
an actor
Graham?
is
How
never
old
tell your age.
Terry Graham Fine.
But I think at 91 I can tell mine.
I'm sorry?
I'm loving the show.
Thank you very much, Irene.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, these people are just, we're talking 53, 57, and they were at that time, they were about 1. Bob was 6. So
Like Loretta Young, very young.
Jocelyn, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I couldn't be better.
Do you have a question?
No, I've got a compliment.
All right.
How nice to see Miss Noel with the same voice that she had when I first started watching Superman. Mine has changed. It's gotten throatier and huskier because I smoke and drink. Oh, it's good. The other. And to see darling Jimmy. And I'm so sorry the way that George Reed passed away. That was a tragedy.
Well, we all are. Very much so.
And John, when you get a moment, I would like to ask you a personal question. May I?
Sure. Noel will be my agent on this.
No, it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
No. Do you still keep in touch with Chris Vesper?
Yes, I do. I have not
Well,
talked to him in a
I
while.
owe Chris some money.
Oh.
Not to withhold it, the same thing.
I'll tell you what,
I'll
I'll save you some time. I'll save you some time. Call me tomorrow at the station. I'll be here.
Will you?
Sure.
Because I want to pay it back.
All right, great. We'll be glad to take it. Hi, Glenn. Do you owe anybody any money, or are you just calling in?
Call John and say, most enjoyable show. I got a question and a little comment to make. One, while you were doing the show, did any of you have anything to do with either Schuster or Siegel, the creators of Superman? And did they offer any comments with regard to how you should go about doing the show? And the second thing is just a comment. Were you given the respect, or are you given the respect you should have? I highly doubt it. The reason why is because Superman, like Laurel and Hardy, like the others that are classics that continue on in time, are never given the respect they should have. Only those that blaze with a single star are given what is Hollywood calls respect, not the ones that fill a niche and continue on year after year.
Well, thank you for your comment. I guess the one question, Schuster and Siegel were the gentlemen that did the Superman comic books and whatever. Did you ever meet them, or have they ever been in touch with you? Joanne?
Well, see, I did,
Well, you did the...
a little special for the, channel for the 13, I think, the radio show. And they, did a 2-hour special.
Okay.
And they were there, and that was the only time.
Were they pleased with what the show was doing, with the TV show?
I think they were so, involved with trying to get some money out of DC Comics that, I mean, their scene was really bad.
Really?
And, so I know.
Did you ever meet
Did you
him?
know him?
Yes, I met Joe Shuster, who was the cartoonist, when National Comics was on Lexington Avenue in New York, and he was working as a line cartoonist at that time for National. He needed a job and they gave him a job. But I never discussed the show, or I think that they always were pleased with everything that happened. They would have liked money.
I think that
But
they
we would have
We
all
all.
liked
Everybody.
We'd all like money.
It seems too that both became a compliment to one another. Of course, they were so successful so early on with the DC Comics, and then as your TV show, all of a sudden sparked an interest in a new generation, drove comic book back to the TV show. So it was probably a very good deal. Did you ever run across a Bob? Schuster and Siegel, the gentleman who did the cartoon, the Superman.
I may have run across him, but I don't remember so. I used to go down to the Comic Con conventions in San Diego. And the first convention that I was at, there were several illustrators there, and I may have met them, but I don't remember.
Okay.
We met the National Comic people. They personally produced the Superman show. I mean, they hired, Wood Ellsworth had been an editor at the comic book.
So there was a connection.
Oh, and they
Okay.
used to come out, and it was honestly something very funny. Harry Donenfeld, who was owned, or he was the head of National Comics, DC, at the time, was a very little man. They were very pleased with the show, and he came out with his family on the set one day. Yeah, and somebody said, was it you that said?
No.
And somebody said, because he was very little, and they said in George Reeves' presence, they said, look at Mr. Donenfeld, he's such a little person. And George Reeves said, yes, but he's very tall when he stands on his money.
All right. Mark, how are you?
Just fine, sir. This is just follow-up to a question I asked, a statement I made earlier about Noel. But I was curious, this show is so important and exciting for people of my generation. I wanted to ask this. You asked a question earlier, which was their favorite episode?
Right.
I was curious about one thing. I remember, as a 8-year-old in 1959 or...
Don't rub it in.
1959.
Don't rub it in, Mark.
Okay. I remember an episode where Superman is, he is able to molecularly restructure his body and go through a wall. I don't know what the name of the episode was, but it impressed me. I went on to get a degree in physics. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. It was an exemplary episode. I've never heard who was responsible for writing. Some of the writing of these episodes were magnificent. And I don't know if the writers during this crazy time of blacklisting and all the rest of it, it was the most exciting episode, and I've never yet figured out that episode. And I watched it.
You mean the special effects that went on?
Well, the thought processes, because at that point in
coming
time,
up with that, yeah.
that was not a common, Steven Spielberg was not running around doing movies like that.
That's the episode you
Transferal of molecular...
Precisely. And I was just curious if these legends, these wonderful, wonderful people, would give us an idea. Did they sit down on the script writing, and did they have any idea of how that one episode was ever figured out?
Okay.
I thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're gonna come back. We're gonna answer
After the break,
come back.
we'll answer that question.
We're gonna ask that after the break. We're gonna molecularly turn your television set into a message. Yeah, there you are.
No, I know everybody.
All the glitter.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. You want a picture? Okay, see the guy in the blue shirt? I'm using his camera.
You having a good time, Bob?
Sure.
Really nice. People responding so well. Ron, you know, I guess when you come to something like this, it's John, if you would go from your left to the right, as we look at the memorabilia, please. We have 5 minutes. You got a pillbox hat? No. Craig? All right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes? That's correct.
Oh, sure, okay.
Appreciate it. Well, we're going to have trouble with these. We're not going to do them. All right. No calls, right? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I remember that song all over. Jim Hendrick, how are you?
In seventh heaven, right here with the quotes.
This is a gentleman I'd like to introduce to you, the curator, the registrar of the Superman Museum, coming up in 1993.
Right, March.
In Metropolis?
Metropolis, Illinois. There is a town called Metropolis in Illinois.
And what if it was in Idaho? Would you still down there? I guess I don't know.
Yes.
All right. You have brought some of the things that, will these things we're about ready to see be enshrined, I guess is a little.
I have over 40,000 pieces. These are some of the premier pieces from the television series.
And you know these fine people.
Yes.
Yeah, big fan here. Can we take a look and start looking at them, and let's start shooting them? So those of you at home and in studio audience, the first thing we're going to be showing is going to be over here. We'll watch our television. So, coming up, where is it? What are we looking at?
Now that's the brown and gray costume, which is actually for the black and white episodes, and they use that before color.
Stunning.
Yes. Not very attractive, but.
This was George's uniform.
Yes, that was the first uniform he put on as Superman. And
There's a hole in it. I know. That
yeah, the
destroys everything.
bullets couldn't get to it, but
Bullets couldn't hit it, but the bullets could chew the heck out of it. And you're seeing a cravat. What is this tie?
That's George's Clark Kent breakaway shirt, they called it. Snaps in the back, and it was for quick changes, or it was hot on those sets, and he didn't like to wear sleeves and stuff, so sometimes he would wear that underneath his coat.
And he would run in and sing.
Right.
All right, and that was it. The what? The flasher, yes, thank you.
The original.
The original flasher. Don't ever use a phone booth in the drop. And as far as what you've got here, this we certainly want to point out.
This is a George Reeves figure, a likeness of George with the Superman costume, and it was created by Henry and Andrea Alvarez right here in Long Beach. And Alvarez Wax Models, and they did a great job. I'm very pleased with it.
Was this the one at the Rubyland Wax Museum?
I had another one over at Rubyland Wax Museum. This one was just completed Monday, a couple of days ago.
It's, I hate to use the phrase, it's still wet, but I guess we can. That is something. George was a big man. How tall was he?
He was 6'1".
Was he 6'1"? All right, and we're going to continue to look around as we do.
Yeah.
Right behind you is a...
That's an original color George Reeves costume, 1957. And that was the last costume he looked for as Superman. And it's 100% wool. It took a couple of assistants to help him get into that costume because he wore padding underneath it. And very stretchy material. And with a
Is
silk
that the
cape.
cape behind
Yeah,
you?
that's
Can we yank that cape out? Can we get that cape? To me, it's just not Superman without a cape. Is that one the original cape?
Yes, that's the original cape. This costume was also worn for the opening of the show. And you have a difference in capes. A lot of the capes were different. This was made out of a more flowing material. When the fans hit it, it would flow better.
The fans hit it.
The wind machine.
Wind machine.
You've ruined my whole day, you know that. We're going to now look at one over here that reminds me of, all right, there it is.
Okay,
And we're also putting a phone number up, which we're going to get into very quickly. What is that thing?
That's a lead mask from an episode called Superman in a Lead Mask, or The Man in a Lead Mask from the Superman episode. And George wore that, and they had problems because he had acquired claustrophobia with that on and wouldn't take it off, and took a piece of his nose off with it, and they had to alter it in the back so it would go on easy.
We're going to do this. I want to make sure and get all this in. You have a George Reeves and Friends International campaign. There is a plan. There is memorabilia, fundraising merchandise, because in this, the funds raised by the selling of this merchandise will go towards
Our ultimate goal is to clear George's name of suicide.
All right, that is one of the other things that they want to do. We're out of time. I want to show that. You saw the phone number. I'll do it again. 714-968-3604. Call that number. You'll be that and send them?
Yeah, we'll send your pamphlet out.
And there is some great memorabilia and
A lot of
merchandise in here.
information.
And we're out of time. And remember, you can't fail if you keep on trying. Boy, this my goodness. Where'd the hour go? Hour has just flown by.
Yeah, my gosh, that went by so fast.
Well,
It went on the air.
Yeah.
It went on the air in 53.
53 through 57.
Yeah, we shot it in 1951 originally.
Oh, is that right?
We shot it in the fall of 51. And then it went on the air.
104 episodes.
Right, and then it went on the air. Hello, Chuck. And then it went on the air in 53. And then it's been on the air ever since.
I see, I see.
And originally went on the air for ABC.
Oh, really?
You know, and then they took it off.
And it was in syndication.
And with the syndication, they made, that was the beginning, and I just recently said it to him, David Walker.
Oh,
David was part of, it was a thing called Flamingo Films, Cy Weintraub. And they built this big syndication network with it, and David Walker worked for him, and then later became David Walker. But his very beginnings was on this show, on the syndication show.
I'm sure Jack has the same experience that I have. I get hundreds of fan mail a year.
Do you really?
Hundreds of them. All of them praising the series and praising Jack's performance.
all right.
It's fantastic.
Those of you that have any questions or would like to ask a question of our guests before they leave, Jack, do we have an autograph? Can you have an autograph? I don't know this deal. Sure then.
Jack.
Where's Ron?
Get your autograph.
Where's Ron?
Jack, I've got a question. First season,
Here, don't use that.
Steve Carr was 18. Yeah, right. But what happened to him after the first season? Whatever became of him? He was in so many episodes. I know. How long were you under contract? I thought maybe he broke up.
I broke my contract
Was in so many.
The reason I broke it was
Yeah.
we're coming back after
Yeah, double trouble.
and I felt that I wasn't well enough standards to survive the competition. So I went freelancing and I did very, very well at that for years.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Including in the end of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a cult classic now.
So I understand.
Sure.
Yeah, well, they didn't, you know, they
Can I
got.
borrow your felt marker? Where are you living now?
Live on 1,000 acres. Vapor jump from here.
Yeah.
What's been a real pleasure? I'm Bob Harris. I did the Long Beach. Oh, I work for the city of Long Beach. I work for the health department.
Well, you're just here.
I'm just here as a fan.
He's an ex theater actor.
Oh, I used to be.
Lobby parties and stuff.
Have you worked for the health department?
Huh?
Did you work for the health
Yes.
department? I've had this problem.
Here, open your here. Let me see. Oh, you got a little boil there. Yes.
My career, I did under contract at Warner Brothers.
Sure.
The first film I made for them was Shine On Harvest.
A musical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sing that at
Did you know Jack Warner?
Nobody knows Jack.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know him.
Yeah.
I met him, but I didn't know
You
him.
met him. Sure. You worked for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got some great shots.
It probably felt like it. You got
Whatever, I'll get double, I'll get some doubles.
You had a wider field of things. I was able to get all the toys and
What
stuff.
was that for?
I have a question. Sir.
She's a very gifted lady, but she is she's a queen.
Just us. Sort of like instinct. We bonded with the show. It's really something.
I didn't either. She would be a confrontation. Confrontation is easy. Where she plays straight out the on the side of it. Playing it.
Go well, they
Cool. You had enough time to just
Did you do a lot of Broadway?
looks pretty good. Looks damn good. Real good.
That's the best way to
Straight
look
on.
at him. Actually, a little bit lower.
Yeah, there you go.
She's going to be up there, you know.
All right, well, once the crowd smooths out, I want a shot with a
Play close on
Look at the
Saturday.
other one.
Oh, 1,000%.
Monday, got on the plane, sun was shining bright. I came out of the